Hello and welcome back. So over the last couple days I have been doing some shorts, just using some of the products that I have been pulling out of my drawer, things that I have either forgotten that I had or just for whatever reason stopped using because I found something else that I liked. So today I'm going to be doing a full face of some of my favorites of those products, and I'm going to show you what they are and then talk a little bit more about why I like them. So if that sounds interesting to you, I hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel and hit that bell notification button so that you are notified of any future uploads. With that, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so I'm going to pull my hair out of my face here. All right, so I didn't have a primer that I pulled out from my declutter, but I just went in with my trusty NYX Marshmallow Primer. It's what I've been using for a while now, especially in the winter time. So I'm going to go right into foundation. And the one I chose today is the one that I actually didn't like this when I first tried it. I tried it multiple times. I got a different shade. It was not laying right on my skin, and I couldn't figure it out because everyone likes it so much. For whatever reason, I kept it and I pulled it back out and I tried it again and it looked beautiful. So I am going to use that today, and it's the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear, 24-hour Fresh Wear. I have the shade 410. This is a pretty good shade match for me once it oxidizes. You have probably heard of this foundation. It's a pretty popular one. It's pretty liquidy, and you get a lot with one pump. Probably won't even use the full pump. I'm just gonna dot that on. This does have a pretty strong scent. It's kind of a, I don't know, perfumey kind of a scent. So if you are sensitive to smell in products, just keep that in mind. I don't smell it throughout the day, but it is pretty strong when you put it on your skin, and it just blends right out. It's really light, and that's why I like it. It's I think, if I remember, the reason I didn't like it is because it just kind of clung to some dry patches that I had. So if you prep your skin really well, you shouldn't have that problem. And this just sort of, it just soaks right in. Now, I'm not going to put it up under my eyes because I use concealer, but you can see how quickly that blended out. I also remember wanting this to be more full coverage than it was. I think I tried to build it up to full coverage and it just wasn't working for me. This is a medium coverage in my opinion. I don't think you can, you're not going to build this up to a full coverage, but that's okay because I'm going to go in with concealer. But if you can see the coverage here. I'm going to go in with a little bit more and a damp sponge and just go over a couple of other areas. This also helps to sort of help any excess on the skin melt in, or it'll pick up any excess that you have. I just like the way it looks when I like to apply with a brush, but kind of go over it with a damp sponge to get up any excess there. Okay, there is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear. Of course, I don't wear my foundation for 24 hours, but it does last all day. I do like it. It does have sunscreen in it, but you know, you can't rely on your foundation for sunscreen. Okay, next up is concealer. I don't know why I ever put this one down. Probably because I found a couple others that I really liked and I just couldn't stop using it. The Natasha Denona, for example. But this one is just so beautiful. It's light. A lot of people talk about this. It's the NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum. It's really, it's got a pump, which is interesting for a concealer. You don't need a lot. That's one pump, but that might not be a full pump. It's acting a little funny. That's all you need. I mean, this covers your entire face. It's unreal how little of this you need. It's very thin. There, you can see right there, blends right out. Look at what that covered. Look at that dark circle there. This stuff's amazing. Very, very light. It's a little thicker than a serum, I would say, but that's kind of how it feels when you're putting it on, blending it out. It's very much like it's light, like a serum would be. Look at that. I don't know why I put this down. I'm sure it's because I found something else that I really liked, but this is one of my favorites. This is one of the best products. Best drugstore concealers. I also love the Wet n Wild Incognito. That's one of my favorites too. This one's just different. It's unique. You could probably, I've heard of people using this kind of like a foundation. I've never done that, but look at that. Look what that covered. This is beautiful. I don't think that was quite a whole pump, because a whole pump, I remember just being way too much. I love it. Look at this. And this does stay in place. Use brush here. Just hit a couple of areas where there's some spots poking through. I can't believe how well that covered my dark circles. No color corrector. Okay. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with a powder. This is a powder from e.l.f. You've probably heard a lot of people talk about the Halo Glow powder. This is, I believe this is called their HD powder. It's just a loose powder. I think I was looking for the Halo Glow when I purchased this and I couldn't find it. So I got this and I could not believe what it did for my pores. So I'm gonna go in with just a little bit. I use a smaller, this is actually a concealer brush. And I just go in and target areas where I feel like I need it, and it blurs everything out. Everything. I could not believe that more people weren't talking about this. This is beautiful. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it blurred everything. It's and it holds your makeup in place. It's not going anywhere. I only do it, I only use powder in areas where I just really want to target. Don't want them to move. You know, where I don't want it to move around. I don't do too much up around my eyes because I don't want to look heavy around those fine lines. But I love this. I pulled this back out. Forgot kind of how it worked, how it laid on my skin, and love it. So this has been in my rotation. I will link it below. It's still available. I've seen it, but it's, you know, like I said, a lot of people use the Halo Glow. I'm not sure what the difference is, but this one is beautiful. I don't have a brows eyeshadow primer that are, you know, old or new. Really, I use the same thing. I'm just going to go in with the e.l.f. Wow Brow in the shade Neutral Brown. I'm going to put on a little bit of eyeshadow primer. I'm going to use ColourPop Party Proof eyeshadow primer. I will do that off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back and we are going to go in with some bronzer now. So this is a bronzer that I picked up from a brand that I discovered a couple of years ago at Dollar General, Believe Beauty. This is the Sunstruck Marbleized Bronzer. This is in the shade Sun-Kissed Honey. I love this brand. It's so cheap, but the quality of the products rivals some high-end that I have. This bronzer, I used this for the first time, and I thought it reminded me of a Bare Minerals bronzer that I had been using every single day for the longest time. And it's beautiful. It's got a little bit of a highlighter mixed through it, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on and I'll show you. It's pretty pigmented, but not overly pigmented that, you know, you have to be super careful with it. I also think it's very similar to, I don't know if you can find this anymore, so I won't go into it too much, but the Flower Beauty Heat Wave bronzer. I love this as well. But this has a very similar tone to it. It's a little bit red, I guess. So, you know, I don't use it really as a contour, but it just gives you a nice color. Almost looks like you're wearing blush, which is kind of what I like in a bronzer. Oh, I just love this. I love it. It's so inexpensive. Might have been $5. I'll link it below. But if you have a Dollar General and you've never tried this brand, go check it out. Really, really great. I love this bronzer. I highly recommend checking out this brand and this particular bronzer. Again, it's the Sunstruck Marbleized bronzer. I think they have a couple of different types of bronzers and shades. Just really, really good. Okay, next up is blush. I don't think I used this in one of my shorts, but I pulled it out and I remember not liking this very much. I tend to stick with blushes that I know I like, and I just use that. This one I've had for a while. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay blush. This is in the shade Party. And it's just a nude, sort of it looks more pinky, like Dusty Rose kind of in the pan. But when you get it on your skin, it's got more of a peachy tone to it. It's not overly pigmented. I love Tarte. And this one is, this is a good one. Just keeping it up high so everything looks lifted. I'm just gonna go back in here and smooth over it a little bit, make sure I don't have any harsh lines. Really subtle, which is what I like. If you like an overly pigmented blush, there might be some other shades that you like in this blush, but I really like this one because it's kind of nude. It does last all day. I believe it claims it's 12-hour. Yeah, Amazonian Clay 12-hour blush. So it does last all day. But I like it. This is a nice shade for me. It is still available. I will link all of these products down below. But there are multiple shades of this if you. All right, next up is my favorite rediscovery of this year. So this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon eyeshadow palette. It's a 5-pan palette. wow, eyeshadows, so good. This is in the shade Walking on Eggshells. This used to be, I think, a 4-pan palette, and they added a shade to it. I love this palette. I like neutrals. There's a lot of pigment in most of these. This one is pretty sheer, this pinky shade in the middle, but the others are just stunning. And so I'm going to go in and I'm going to take a fluffy brush, and I'm going to start with this shade right here. Oops, on my brow bone as a transition shade. And I used this in a short the other day, and it lasted all day. I could not believe that I had put this down. Again, because I found other things. I have a lot of things that I use, but this is back in my rotation. All right, next I'm going to go in with, let's see, I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here. Oops. Up in my crease, and I'm going to use it just a slightly fluffier brush. Sorry, slightly less fluffy brush. And go up in my crease and kind of create a shadow there on my brow bone. These have a luminosity to them too, some of them. The first one was matte, but this one I'm using now has a little bit of shimmer in it. Not enough to look like glitter, but enough that it helps it blend easily. I love this. These are so inexpensive too. Let's see, I think the only thing this does not have is a matte nude shade, like my skin tone shade. So I'm going to go into the e.l.f. I Love You a Latte palette. Love this as well. And I'm just going to go over my eyelid with a little bit of a nude shade here, just to lay down a base to make those shimmers pop a little more. Okay. All right, next I'm going to go in with that pinky sort of a shimmer shade all over the lid. It doesn't look quite as pink on your skin as it does in the pan. It's more just like a nude shimmer. And then let's go in with a little bit of this. This is more of like a white shimmer shade. I'm just going to go in my inner corner there and spread that out just a little bit, not a lot. Okay, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, and I'm going to take that and very gently go on my the outer third of my eyelid. Just to give a little definition here. This shade right here, and just make sure that's all sort of blended in. Love it, I just love it. Go with a densely packed brush, in with that first shade, and I'm gonna go under my eye just a little bit, just to kind of pull everything together, make it blend together nicely. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with a really thin brush, and I'm going to use that darkest shade, and I'm going to use this as eyeliner, because I find this looks really natural, especially on on my maturing eyes. I'm going to, I think, go with just my bronzer brush. Okay, next up, and usually I do this before eyeshadow, so I'm not sure how I went out of order. But I'm going to go in with a highlighter that I have used years ago. This is my second one. This is the Mary Luminizer highlighter from theBalm Cosmetics. You can use this as an eyeshadow. You can use this as a highlighter. I use it as a highlighter mostly. Maybe I'll put a little bit over my eyes to help that pop just a little bit more. But this is beautiful. It is, it's not glittery. It looks very natural. Oh, I love it. I'm going to go in with some mascara. This is not an old discovery. I use it all the time. I really don't have one that I pull out. If I have a mascara, I use it. This is the Maybelline Sky High. This is one of my favorites. I'm just going to use this, and we will wrap up. Do love this mascara. It volumizes, it lengthens, it stays put, doesn't go anywhere. I use it on my bottom lashes. I just love it. All right, let's take a look at these products all together. Okay, so I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. This is my favorite rediscovery of the year, at least as far as eyeshadow palettes go. This is beautiful, very easy to use, very travel friendly. I'm definitely going to be pulling this out. Very nice on the skin, very inexpensive. Also, this foundation, this went on so nicely. Maybe my skin has changed. I don't know. Maybe I'm using less of it. But this is really holding up nicely for me. Really like this. I'm putting this back in my rotation as well. And let's see, and this concealer. I think this is another of my favorites. The NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer. Absolutely beautiful. NYX is on the higher end as far as price goes for drugstore, so just keep that in mind. But it does last a long time. You hardly need a drop of this for your whole face. So really, really good. I don't know if I mentioned the shade I have in this. This is the shade Vanilla. I almost felt like when I first got this, I could have gone down a shade, but they didn't have it. This works just fine. So there you have it. I will link all of these products down below in case you're interested in trying them. They're all still available. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have an amazing weekend ahead, and I will see you next time. I hope you make it a great day. Bye.